Right, welcome back. I'm standing outside. I've done the tidying up of the filler, the Gorilla Glue 2-in-1 filler glue, and I've put my modesty plates on now. So here's what I've done. So with the Gorilla 2-in-1 glue filler, it dried like silicone, but it's a hell of a lot more stiffer, so I couldn't sand it. So I just got the back edge of my knife, my little snap knife, and just went round the edges and tidied all that up with the excess round there as well, so that's looking a hell of a lot neater. Round this side I've done the same, again with the back edge of my knife, scraped off all that excess, and the epoxy 2-in-1 glue, I scraped all the excess of that off as well, so that's looking a hell of a lot neater. I've got my modesty plate, which started life out as a microwave ready meal tub. So once I'd had my microwave ready meal, I just let the pot cool down, washed it out, and then cut it out with that cardboard template, and I've put that in. Now I've used the Gorilla Glue 2-in-1 on that, so I put a bit of tape here. I put a bit of tape here to hold that down, and then I used my pressure clamp because the tape kept coming loose, so I pressure clamped the tape into place so it didn't move. For the top piece here, to get that to go flat, I've got two of my painting blocks, put those in there like that, and then going over to one of my square lobber from all these lobbers that were dug out the garden by my mate John. I put that on top of there like that, and that square lobber I don't know how much it weighs, but it weighs a ton, so that held that modesty plate down. So putting that back over here, I'm taking these two blocks off, and that's held that down pretty flat. I don't think it's 100%, but it looks better than it did. The issue being, you've got these little markings here, the plastic markings and numbers. I could class that as the actual registration for the Lancer itself, so I'm not really worried about that. But that's gone down really nice. Very, very thin plastic indeed. Hell of a lot thinner than my sheet plastic. So turning this over, I've also done a bit of filling work on there. I don't know how well this is going to show once the primer goes down, but I'm not really bothered about that. The gap is very, very negligible indeed. Now I'm going to my modesty plate for the actual hand grip of the bayonet. So there it is. So again with the microwave ready meal pot, I just cut that out, and then I got the Gorilla Glue and put that down and just wrap some tape round. Let that 24 hours to set, and then I got the edge of my knife again and just scraped away to make that look a bit more neater. But then I realised I had to fill in the sides, so I put a bit of the Gorilla Glue on that side like that, and there as well. Where am I? There we go. So I put some there as well, and then once that dry, then again just got the back edge of my knife and tidied that up, and the modesty plates on that now are looking a hell of a lot better than they was before. So with that being said, the Lancer is now ready for primer. Right, so the Lancer's all primed now. I'm out in the back garden again. I've just rested my Lancer on my table and chairs, which I've got the covers on. So the primer's really blended all where I'd filled in. That's looking nice and fairly neat, not too bad. The biggest thing I can say is the modesty plates. Those are blended in really, really well, and at the back as well, and at the sides, and that side, that's gone really well. Around the teeth, where I'd sealed as well, around the teeth hand grip, that's gone down really nice, blended in really well. And turning this over, the modesty plate for the hand grip, that's gone down, that's blended in really well with the primer. So all in all, not too bad at all. The primer coat is down and this is looking really nice as it is. Right, now the lanter's all primed, it's time to start to get to work on the extra bits that I'm doing. So I bought myself a 3D printed Nerf sight off a rapid strike gun. This cost me $4.99. And I've just got a little bit of pipe, plumber's pipe, an electrical pipe from work, just a few cuts that they're throwing away. So there's my blue pipe. What I'm going to do with the blue pipe is I've just cut off a little piece there, because that's going to be going inside my coupler. So when that goes in there, because at the moment that's just resting inside there like that, and there's nothing for that to glue onto. So that bit of pipe there is going to go inside there like that, and it's going to sit just inside of the coupler. So the back section there, that piece, will have that to rest onto, and then I can glue it, and it's going to give it a hell of a lot more strength. So that's that piece explained. Then you've got the barrel itself. Now it's got a bit of pipe here. This used to be on the end of another pipe like a coupler, and I've sanded that down so it's nice and smooth, and I'm going to put that on top of there like that to extend the gun barrel, because I don't like the way that is at the moment. So I'm going to glue that onto there to extend the gun barrel slightly. And then this bit of pipe here, going back over to my lancer, I'm going to stand it on its end. This bit of pipe here, I'm going to use that to go in there like that, and then I'm probably going to cut it off about here, and that's going to be my front iron sight. Just turning that round slightly, you can see that that bit of pipe there sits in there perfect. So that's what I'm going to be doing with that. So I'm going to be making some iron sights. Now going back to me Nerf rapid strike sight, it's going to be sitting on here on the rear sight, but the trouble is I'm going to put that there, but you can see that it's too long. So what I've done is I've just done a pencil mark, and I'm going to cut that down so that will sit on top of there. Now this channel is going to have to be filled in, because on the rapid strike there's actually a rail that you would say, if this was the Nerf rapid strike, you'd put that on to the rail, and then you push that on like that, because there's a rail on there on the rapid strike, and you slide it on and it would lock into place so it wouldn't move. So obviously that channel is going to have to be filled in, so I'm going to stick some filler in there after I've cut that, and that will rest on there like that. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. Right, welcome back. I've done some gluing with the two-part epoxy. So I'll start with the front sight. So if you remember, I had that bit of pipe, so I cut it down, sanded it off, put some of the two-part epoxy in the channel there, held the bit of pipe in for 5 minutes while it set. Once that's set, I just got a bit of my sheet plastic and made the little liner sight to go inside there, and just put a bit of the two-part epoxy in both sides. Held that in for a few minutes, 5 minutes, and let that set. I've also done the work on my Nerf gun 3D printed sight. So if you remember, I cut the back off because it was too long. Once that was done, sanded it down and just filled it in with the normal household filler. Let that all day yesterday to dry, and that's dried an absolute treat. So I've just sanded that down. Then it comes to the gun barrel itself. So I glued that bit of pipe on with the collar with a 2-part epoxy directly onto the front of the gun barrel. This has been drying now for 36 hours, so I thought I'd better leave it to fully dry, because after 24 hours it dried, but it was still a tiny bit tacky, so I left it outside again all day yesterday. You can see I've put the little blue collar in there. I cut off that bit of blue pipe for that rear of the gun barrel to glue onto. Got the 2-part epoxy in there, and that's dried an absolute treat, and it's a hell of a lot more secure. And then I've just put a bit of that Gorilla Glue in the back of there, because there was a tiny gap, so I've just filled that in with a Gorilla Glue filler. So I've just got to wait for that to dry so I can spray it. That's ready to be sprayed now, and that's ready to be sprayed now, the actual front and rear sights. Right, so all my extra bits are on now. I'll start with the gun barrel. So I primed the gun barrel, I then waited for that to dry, and then on the rear edge of the coupler just put a bead of the Gorilla Glue on, stood it on its butt, left it outside all day to dry. I didn't use any tape or any clamps, because obviously I couldn't do that, so I just left it all outside all day to dry. Brought it in just before I went to bed, and this morning that has fully dried, and it's dried really stiff. So I've just scraped off all the excess glue, and then just tidied that up, and then sprayed the primer on to cover all that, and you can't tell that there's any glue on there at all. Comes to the rear sight, the Nerf sight. Again, the day before I did the gun barrel, I just put a bead of the Gorilla Glue on the bottom of the sight, and then just got it into position, left that 24 hours to dry, standing it up like that. And then again this morning, after the gun barrel had dried, I just scraped off all the excess with the rear edge of my knife, and then just primed that, and again you can't tell that's been glued on at all. So now the rifle's all primed, this is now ready for its base coat.